right, Mark, for this one with Fallout, how I want to start approaching this is,
Yeah.
can you remind me something?
Yes, maybe.
I think I remember correctly, you telling me a while back, one of your favorite action movies is The Rock, right?
Oh, I love The Rock. 90s action at its finest.
Fallout, I actually do recognize now after watching it for I don't know what number of time it is. It has a lot of the issues that we've talked about from the previous movies. Those are still there. But just as an action movie, I think one of the all-time greats.
It's solid action throughout the whole thing. It does have those Mission Impossible characteristic things, but there's something different going on in this one, for sure.
The design from the sound to visual to the stunt work. And you'll see, even when I bring up some of those, like, oh, what are the dislikes or the usual complaints? Those are an issue for me to a far lesser degree than I think any of the other installments. Now, I'm going to separate Mission Impossible 1 from this because it's its own thing.
It's totally its own thing. It's so obvious that they did not have the franchise in mind with 1 because like it is not how you would kick off this franchise. Like it is a one and done. It is a standalone novel that they then built a series around. And it's great for that.
I think actually I have to admit already, like I don't think I even need to wait till after Dead Reckoning or Final Reckoning. Yeah, the first one is the best. I do.
Really?
As a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
As a spy thriller. But now if we take all the rest and look at them as like action movies.
Yeah. You're right. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
This one, it's interesting. Like I love it, of course, for all the action stuff, but I'm going to mention in a little bit some other things too that work really well. Like this movie, what I love about it so much is just how it makes me feel. You know?
How does it make you feel, Rob?
Okay, the music, for example, the violins are gone. The drums are in though.
The drums are in.
Drums are in. Lauren Balfe with this score just makes me feel like I want to run through a wall. Just
Kool-Aid Man style.
Seriously, like I get so pumped with this soundtrack. It's exciting. But did you notice there are also some of these scenes where it gets very quiet or there's even no sound?
Yes, like the bathroom fight, the incredibly choreographed 3-person fight in the bathroom, 0 sound other than like the pumping EDM music coming from the club next door.
And them just beating the shit out of each other and breaking things.
It's a great fight.
Tom Cruise, Henry Cavill, and the third guy who plays like the John Lark double is Lian Yang. He's a stunt coordinator.
Okay.
Awesome dude.
Yeah, really great scene where Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise are trying to subdue this guy who kicks their asses.
And then Henry Cavill also just does that whole arm pump thing, which
Yep.
becomes a meme everywhere on social media.
Did you see when he did that in the newest Deadpool also? Because in one of the scenes, you remember, okay, so in the new Deadpool, like he's trying to recruit Wolverine, remember? You saw it, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
So he goes to all these different timelines, like trying to find Logan. And in one of them, it's Henry Cavill as Wolverine because he was in talks to kind of star as the role at one point. And it's like a 30-second scene. And before he kicks Ryan Reynolds' ass, he does the arm pump and the claws come out. It's so good. It's such a meme.
You know, the other thing I remember from Henry Cavill with this movie is in Fallout, his character of Walker, and later we find out as John Lark, he has this mustache. Do you remember the whole issue with the mustache?
Oh, because wasn't he going to be Superman or something?
It was the time Justice League was being filmed.
Yeah. So what happened with it? What happened again with it?
They had to do reshoots and they wanted him to shave it, and Paramount said hell no, and so they did the worst CG whatever visual effects. And like when you see a close up of his face, because like there's a part where he's like evil Superman or something.
Yeah,
he does this grin, and it's the worst looking thing ever. It's just like
that's so weird that they couldn't figure that out. Like, I mean, what year was that? Because I feel like today we have tools to do that on Snapchat. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And it's pretty good. Like, I'm surprised they couldn't figure that out better.
Well, both these movies, like it's around 2015, 2016. So even that far back in like 10 years is, not.
I guess it's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I just remember like that was a whole big deal. But look, I'm glad he was in this movie. I thought he was a great part of it.
He's great. And I'm glad he's a villain in this movie too.
Yeah. How did you like what they did where they tell you that early on? Like, they don't make you wait all the way until the end for a twist of he's the bad guy.
Did they advert? Because like, I thought the reveal happened when he is alone in the cell with who he thinks is Solomon Lane, the big bad guy, but it's actually Benny in a mask, and he kind of reveals his true intentions. Is that not the big reveal of him being the bad guy or a bad guy?
It's when he gives the CIA director, played by Angela Bassett, he gives her in Paris the phone, and that phone in the bathroom fight scene had been smashed. The phone that he gives her is totally fine. It's not that.
Missed that, phone. Dude. I missed that. And so is that like if you're paying close attention, you'll find out early kind of thing?
Yeah, like halfway into the movie.
That's good.
There's a reveal. And so I love it. It just adds this other layer of tension for like another 20, 30 minutes. You're like, okay, we know this guy's not legit. And so what's going to happen? Like, have they figured it out? And yeah. And
that's really good.
And that whole part where they do somehow figure it out and they have Benji wearing the mask as Lane, I thought that was definitely a nice touch. But with this movie, there was another thing that I was wondering, like kind of an unusual part. Only in Fallout and in Ghost Protocol, those are the only two movies where anyone's cursed in it.
Cursed?
Yeah, like swore. Like in Ghost Protocol, when he's hanging out at the building, Renner says, "Your line's, not long enough," and Hunt says, "No shit,"
yes.
And then in this one with Cable and Lane, he's like, "Why do you have to make everything so fucking complicated?"
That's right. Yeah, it's to great effect too. It's great line deliveries.
Yeah, I mean, again, Cable is great in this movie, and so that whole scene. But I just wonder why. It doesn't really matter, but they're making an exception, and so I'm just wondering why. Anyways, but
yeah, it's there's a few good line deliveries in this, Saurabh. Like, I had to rewind a couple parts because I was laughing so hard. Tom Cruise has two of the funniest line deliveries in this. When they're jumping out of the airplane, him and Henry Cavill, and a great sequence. Like, so tense. It's one shot. I think it's one shot. It's beautiful. So they jump out of this airplane, and Henry Cavill kind of like teases him. "Oh, what are you afraid of? A little lightning?" And then lightning strikes and knocks them both out. And sound cuts out, and Tom Cruise is all dazed. And as he comes back and he gets his senses, he wakes up and he goes, "Bitch."
He says what?
He says, "Bitch." Yeah, slapping so hard. And then at the end, when they're all on comms trying to defuse the bombs, and Tom Cruise is in the helicopter, like super stressed out, and he goes, "I'm in the helicopter." And everyone goes, "You're in a helicopter? You're in a helicopter? Why are you in a helicopter?" And Tom Cruise goes, hey, like, shut up, you guys." It's such a good delivery from like a flabbergasted parent or teacher or something. Yeah, it's like, so funny.
Settle down. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was just cracking up so much in this movie.
And there were also some more of those like hammy cheeseball-y lines. There's one where Cruise is finding out, okay, the asset that they have to extract is Lane. It's not some item or whatever.
Right.
And, and the White Widow and her team, they're like, well, yeah, you can't handle that. That's too much for you, Lark. And he says something here. Yeah. And he like tries to look all evil and brooding, but it just looks kind of goofy. And he says this. He says, "I murder women and children with smallpox. I have no line."
Yeah. It's such a good like delivery of it, and because of how cheesy it is, like it really does to me feel like, hey, here's Ethan Hunt, the good guy, trying to play bad guy. This movie makes a really big point of hammering home like what a good guy Ethan Hunt is, and his power lies in his wanting to save the life as well as the million of lives. Like, he values life so highly. So when he has to put on a face and be the bad guy, it comes across goofy, like you just said. He can't do it. And I think that was a really, really good acting from Tom Cruise in that moment. He's got to act. He has to act like he's acting poorly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really good.
And I'm glad you mentioned the part about where the movie really pushes that message of Ethan Hunt is trying to be a good guy. And like, it's one of the things that I love about this movie, even though I know it continues that problem of we don't get a lot of backstory or context. We don't really still know a lot about Ethan.
Right.
But I do just like in general, this franchise has said, all right, our hero character is going to be a hero. He's not going to be an anti-hero. He's not going to be, if you give him the choice saying save the one or save the millions or whatever, he's not going to accept that premise. I know that is idealistic, it's cheesy, it's unrealistic, but it goes back to what we talked about before with Dark Knight or with James Bond. We've been in too much gloomy and dark, crazy stuff. I like that this guy's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I agree. He's very clearly the good guy. There's nothing ambiguous about Ethan Hunt. And I think that sets up when you have this good guy, well, he needs a very clear bad guy. And I kind of feel like that's where this movie and maybe this franchise as a whole struggles a little bit, because the bad guys are a little flimsy. Like, it's just the same old to make everything great, everyone has to suffer. And I feel like, okay, I have a prediction, dude. Is this sort of theme has been hammered home in this series since at least the third one. Maybe the second one, I can't remember. The fact that, oh, hey, we need to destroy everything to build it back up. I think that there is some going to be in the next one, in the new one, some sort of larger reveal about that concept. I don't know what it is, but whether like Ethan comes around to believe it in some way, or the team calls attention to it. Like, haven't you noticed that every guy we've been up against has said that? Like, there's going to be some larger narrative context to that theme.
And maybe that's going to be what these callbacks are to the earlier movies. I hope that that's how they stitch it together. Because it's that same villain motivation of reset the world, which is not compelling.
Right. And it might be compelling for one, but it's just like, okay, I got it. Like, for sure.
They haven't changed it. It for sure is the same thing here. There was also one additional thing with the villains I had an issue with. In this one, there was a layer of confusion because now we have the Syndicate, we have the Apostles, and we have John Lark, and they're not necessarily the same, but they like each other, help each other. Like, it's so, because I thought John Lark was part of the Apostles, but he's not. And so it's just, very confusing.
Dude, talk about confusing. I have to admit something really embarrassing. It was about maybe 3/4 through the film that I realized that the villain is the same guy as the villain in the last movie, just with a big beard and no glasses. I did not make that connection until he said something. I can't remember what he said. Maybe it was recognizing Rebecca Ferguson's character. And I was like, wait, why would he know that? Like, how would he know that? And then I realized, oh, this is the guy from the last movie.
This is the only one that's done a move like that where you have a returning villain.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of a big moment for me.
Yeah, man. Just so many things that worked so well with this. We talked about Henry Cavill, Angela Bassett, was a good addition, and she's going to be for number 7 and I think number 8.
Right.
And then, Alec Baldwin, I loved, even though he's not in as much, he has great moments. He even said in interviews, though, like during the part where he had to fight Henry Cavill, he's like, why do you have me fight like the fastest, fittest, dude?
Yeah.
Like, because he's like,
that's a fight he's going to lose.
Yeah. But again, those scenes were great. When they make it think, okay, Hunt is actually the mole, that whole setup was really good.
Very satisfying. Very well done.
A thing I also liked in this is that several times, either the Ethan character or one of the other characters, they say something like, I'm figuring it out. We'll burn that bridge when we get it.
Right.
I kind of take that as how they make these movies too. It's like, oh, we don't have
to. Dude, that's a really good point, because their whole thing is let's do the stunt and then we'll build the film around it. And many times, like several characters say, "Oh, we're working on it. Like we're figuring out what the plan is." And that's a really good point, dude.
And I was thinking of you, man, because you had mentioned in Rogue Nation editing and sound. And in this movie, there are many times about like the editing with the sound. So like when Angela Bassett's character is introduced, you hear her footsteps, but there's also like a cool drum beat, like sound effect.
Yes.
That was really cool. We talked about the bathroom fight, like lack of sound or just minimal sound. But you know what was my favorite? My favorite use of sound is the dream sequence, not at the beginning. I mean, that part was cool too, I know, but the dream sequence where Ethan imagines, okay, this is how it might go down when we try to break Lane out of his prison transport.
Yes.
It was like eerie music, right? Like very kind of like...
Very quiet, yeah.
Yeah, and he has to shoot the guard. Like, that's like the only time where you see, okay, if I was really, truly a bad guy, being an anti-hero, this is what I'd have to do.
You know, I made a note of that scene as well for the same reasons, because it's so, like you said, it's so eerie, and it's a really thoughtful, well done scene, because you don't know if it's fake yet or not. I assumed it was happening, that it wasn't his imagination. And, you know, the camera stays behind Tom Cruise as he walks along this battlefield as one of the bad guys. And you see him avoiding shooting people. You know, he keeps his gun down the entire time while people are dying in front of him. He's dodging bullets. And then at the end, his worst fear comes true, where he has to kill somebody. And it's to great effect to really hammer home, like, here we've been talking about Ethan Hunt as this guy who values human life, and he is confronted with having to look into someone's eyes and take it. And I just think it's a really great character moment for him. And then when it actually happens with that police officer who catches them as they're about to successfully leave, he's like saying, please leave, please leave. I don't know. It's a great callback. And I think this movie did a really good job of really kind of like fleshing out Ethan Hunt better than any of the other ones have.
Totally. That with the policewoman, that scene also just, again, the use of sound of like, it's very quiet. You just hear the train tracks leading up. Like it gets louder as like he has to make a decision.
Very tense.
The Halo jump. The Halo jump was something else.
So cool.
And I love how the backstory on that is for the filming of it. The only country that would allow them to do that, the airspace where they had permission, it was in the Emirates. So they filmed there and then just digitally put in the Paris skyline. Like I thought that was
really.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I thought something looked a little off in that scene. You know, like, because it's a Mission Impossible movie, I just assume all the stunts are real, or as real as they can be. But that makes sense that skyline was put in. It's a great sequence. Like, I really don't know how they achieve some of this stuff, man. It's like, I really assume that they are doing a lot of firsts in filmmaking, and like developing new technology and new techniques specifically to capture these sequences. Whether you like these movies or not, whether you like spy movies, action movies, Mission Impossible or not, you have to admit that this is a really impressive franchise just for the filmmaking that's involved in it.
Oh, totally. For that scene, they had to have a guy jump before Cruise with the camera built into his helmet. And then also even for like Cruise and Cavill, when they're filming that stuff, the masks have lighting built into it so that you can see them clearly. I mean, yeah, they definitely pioneer, I think, a lot of stuff with these movies.
Yeah, it's so much effort, and it really pays off. Like, I can't think of another movie that's like this one. And this one, Fallout number 6, it feels like, to me, this is the full realization of what these movies are. It is firing on all cylinders. It knows what it's doing. It's confident in its decisions. There's very little fat on this movie. Yeah, it's long. The pacing's long. Some of it could be trimmed down, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But like, I don't know. In the other ones, there was always something that felt a little out of place to me. This feels really tight.
I think the feel was consistent, the tone all the way through. I put here as a note, before I even started watching the movie, I'm like, okay, I remember that Kashmir, that part takes up 50 minutes, but the whole movie is so well designed. Even during that last 50 minutes, I'm like,
it's very tense.
So the helicopter chase, I thought maybe I'd get tired of that, but no, they kept that pretty damn exciting too.
Yeah.
Maybe when it crashes on the mountain, like that CG is a little like, okay.
It goes on a little long. And I remember seeing this in the theater and thinking like, oh, and I think we've talked about this, like, oh, this is dragging a little bit. Like, I get it. Like, let's get this helicopter scene going. This time it did not feel that way. It felt pretty tight. But hey, let me ask you something. This is kind of a tangent, but speaking of that scene in Kashmir, we find Julia's there, right? And it was
Right.
kind of like a whole setup. It was from the beginning, like this guy, the bad guy, is going to set up his operations where he knows Ethan Hunt has a invested interest in this person who's there and the well-being of them. So we find out that Julia, his ex-wife and love interest, is remarried to this doctor or nurse guy or some sort of medical professional. I do not believe for a second that that guy is not some sort of undercover operative.
Uh-huh.
He is the most rugged, threatening looking medical professional I've ever seen in my life. I don't believe for a second that he is not a part of some bigger plan, whether it's nefarious, probably, or good, probably not. I don't know, dude. I just didn't. There's just something very goofy and off about that guy.
Yeah. Well, so there's something about that guy I can tell you, which might help explain that a little bit. Did you recognize that's a cameo in that role?
Is it? No, who is that?
Yeah, it's Wes Bentley.
What's his deal?
So Wes Bentley, he played the son in American Beauty, and he's also in Yellowstone.
My God, you're right. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's always played roles that are what do you call off-putting, or and in Yellowstone, he plays the character of Jamie, Kevin Costner's son, who's this asshole character.
Okay.
And the character in that show is not likable at all. So to see suddenly in this role, like, hey, I'm a nice guy, and yeah, I'm going to let you all just catch up, and I'll be over here. I was just like, I'm like, this seems a little off, but yeah, no, I
can't remember. For the next movie that we're gonna watch, does he come back? Is he in it at all?
I don't think him and Julia make another appearance.
I guarantee you he will be in the new movie, and it will. Here's another prediction. Welcome to Mark's Prediction Corner. It's gonna be revealed that he is a bad guy. He's some sort of undercover operative in the new one.
You're saying Wes Bentley, who plays, the new husband of Julia in this movie Fallout, is going to be a bad guy.
He's going to be a bad guy. Yeah.
All right, folks, you heard it here first.
I'm calling it right now.
This is the last movie that was able to really run a production like a normal film. Dead Reckoning and The Final Reckoning had major problems to contend with. Dead Reckoning had to be made during COVID.
Right.
But the thing that I appreciate about, Cruise and McQuarrie is that they're like, hey, you know what? The audience is not going to care about what problems we have, so we just have to make it work.
Right. Yeah. And if the next movie, I don't remember the next movie at all. I remember the train sequence at the end. And in the new movie, if they're anywhere as good as this one was, I think we'll be in for a treat. This was a really good movie. This might be one of my favorites of the franchise, other than the first one. It's by far one of the strongest in the new era of Mission Impossibles. And it feels like they finally found their footing and like the environment of these films and the language of these films. It only took them 6 movies to do it.
For me, actually, it's like Rogue Nation, Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and then we'll see with Final Reckoning. I meant what I said from before of like, it's hard for me to really say, oh, I like this one better or that one better. They are all consistently fun from a just production and entertainment point. They're firing on all cylinders for all of them.
I completely agree. And this one, like even the foot chase, like there's a scene where it's a lengthy scene where it's the Tom Cruise run and he's chasing Henry Cavill's character who's walking. It is so engaging. And it's just Tom Cruise running for 5 minutes. That's it. It's such a good scene.
And by the way, this is the one where he breaks his foot, does that whole thing. And they kept that shot where he's limping, off screen.
So that was real.
That was nuts. Absolutely. Just
incredible. Like Tom Cruise is, of course, there's the caveat when you're talking about Tom Cruise of just who he is as a man and a human being. But dude knows what he's doing on the screen. He's a force of nature in front of a camera.
And after like us going over all these details, you can understand why a movie like this did. I'm looking here at their global haul was $791 million.
Good. That's incredible.
I mean, it was $178 million to make, but it definitely is profitable. Now, let me ask you this, Mark. The movie is 2 hours and 27 minutes long. How long do you think it should have been?
I think it could have been 2 hours. 2 hours and change. I think they
2
could
hours.
have trimmed 20 minutes off of this movie. 2 hours, 20 minutes is a long movie, like for sure. I was not bored in this
No.
movie. I was excited the whole time and like happy to be watching it.
Definitely. And I also want to ask, with the character of Ilsa, with, Rebecca Ferguson, how do you think that was handled in this movie?
I thought it was good. I think the only thing that kind of doesn't work for me is everyone's obsession with Ethan Hunt. This hardened agent, Rebecca Ferguson, who has been like really manipulated by all of these intelligence agencies. Some reason she has a soft spot for the guy. Maybe it's because like he values life in a career where she's seen most people don't. I don't know. I don't totally buy it. And on top of that, there's a scene with Ving Rhames. I think is it Ving Rhames and Rebecca Ferguson where he's like telling her about Julia and like the reason the marriage didn't, this was so weird, Saurabh. The reason their marriage didn't work out is, Ethan Hunt stepped away from the spy game and tried to live a normal life. But every time, this is what Ving Rhames says, he goes, every time something bad happened in the world, Ethan thought, I should have been there. And it's like he's not like Superman. Like, what do you mean I should? It just felt really like, granted, we always have this conversation where it's like, what was unrealistic about this movie? It's like the entire movie's unrealistic, but I don't know. That felt weird. But what did you think about it?
Yeah, like my thing that just bugs me a little bit is I like where she's like, okay, I want to get back, in with MI6. I want to get back to, doing my job, and I'm willing to go through you if I have to do that. Like that was a interesting conflict to show, but then how she kind of like gets over it so quickly is off. I see what
you mean. Like, how big of a problem was this really? Like, if you're like all of a sudden you've moved on from it,
And like from this point onward, they kind of then really fully embrace the thing you were saying. Like now she's like really into him and, and all of that. And that just didn't really come together in a way that made sense.
I agree. And granted, like, this franchise, the women characters in it are not, you don't watch these movies because the women have agency and, they're making a statement about like how women show up in these kind of roles. You have strong women who exist in these movies to provide character information on the men in it, right? And specifically on Ethan Hunt. And like, I'm not, granted, like that's filmmaking in the last 100 years to an extent. You know what I mean? Like none of the women in this franchise are going to pass the Bechdel test. It's just like, you just kind of have to shrug and go along with it and kind of suspend your disbelief on how these people show up.
Mark, can you share what the Bechdel test is? I just want to make sure.
It's, I'm going to get this wrong too, but it's basically like women I think it's in media in general, if they are showing up in some piece of media and they're not talking about men or their roles are their own and don't exist to somehow further the story for a man. There's a bunch of other components to it too, where a conversation two women might have. So I'm going to look it up because it's actually quite fascinating, but I can't remember exactly what the components are of it. The Bechdel test is simply a significant benchmark for evaluating gender representation in media, particularly film. It checks if a movie has at least two named female characters who talk to each other about something other than a man. And this movie does not pass the Bechdel test. The two women in this movie, apart from the White Widow, who exists amongst a bunch of other men, are Rebecca Ferguson and Julia. And I think they share one word to each other. And it's while they are looking at Ethan, who is hurt in bed.
Right.
It's like, it's a big failure of the Bechdel test.
Yeah. And I was just thinking White Widow that you were just mentioning too. I think I had mentioned this to you like before in an earlier episode. I did love the callback to her being the daughter of Max from the first movie,
Yes. That's a good point. I wanted to bring that up too. It's all connected.
Was it my mother Max was something of a paradox, like just using that line.
That's right. Because doesn't Max call Ethan a paradox in the first one?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So like it was pretty much taking a quote, but the one thing I love with McQuarrie now is like he is not going to take the bait for people to like really put any of his fan work under like the microscope because he knows how dangerous that can be. You get one thing wrong, your audience turns on you. So, but he'll just do it anyways if he wants to and just not talk about it.
I mean, there's a lot of strength in that. I appreciate that too. And the movies are really fun, and he did a great job with these. Like, I'm glad he kind of took over. You know, we have the first one, which is great cinema, and then we have a lot of ho hum until McQuarrie picked up the mantle.
And I really feel for the guy with this, last one, because he's the one who has to wrap up the Tom Cruise, era. It's like, and that's pressure.
It is. It's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's crazy. It's 25 years of filmmaking. It's wild that we're about to wrap this up.
Tom Cruise was 33 when he started. He's 62 now.
Sarah, that's insane.
30 years. Yeah.
His entire, like, that's a whole life. Like, wow. I'm so excited that we're on the cusp of this. Like, I'm really excited to go see this movie.
Totally. I mean, the first one came out, I was in 6th grade, and now I'm 40, and this is the last one. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, that is just such a crazy thing.
It's true. This series is far from perfect, man. Like, there's a lot of issues with it. A lot of times the movies are not good, but my God, like this series has a really soft place in my heart. Like, I even when I don't like these movies, I like the series. And this latest one was a real fun time to watch.
And these scenes we talked about, so we talked about the Halo jump, but then 2 others, the Paris motorcycle chase where like Ethan's being chased by the police, or Ethan in the BMW and Ilsa on the motorcycle, like some of the choreography of those alone. And again, he's never wearing a helmet, Mark. I think the guy really wants like, I don't know. Like it's
he's got no time, man. He's always in a hurry. Whenever he's on a bike, he's in the biggest hurry of anyone ever. You know, like, he needs to get to where he's going immediately.
Although when Ilsa is rammed by the car that he's driving, she's like, fuck that, I'm wearing a helmet.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, she's always in a helmet.
Whoever was probably the stunt person, doing that, even they're like, hey, look, I do this for a living. I'm wearing a goddamn helmet.
Right. Totally.
So... yeah, so best scenes for me, I would say I have a 3-way tie for best scenes. The Halo jump, the bathroom fight, and that dream sequence, the nightmare dream sequence that Ethan has, about going to where he has to shoot that guard.
Right. Right. All great, and I think it's a testament to how well done this movie is that your favorite scene is tied in 3 places.
Yeah. The rewatchability on this one is very high for me.
I agree. It's quite possibly the highest of all of them so far.
As far as the villain, we still have those villain problems, but the casting is great. Both Henry Cavill and Sean Harris as Solomon Lane. They're creepy, and definitely with Henry Cavill, the physicality for all the fight scenes. And one that I actually overlooked, Sean Harris in that fight scene at the end with...
yeah, right.
That was pretty good.
Reminded that he is an ex-operative, that he knows how to handle himself. And yeah, man, I agree with you about the villains. I think Henry Cavill is a great villain in this because I feel like fear about him. Like, I feel threatened by him. He's described as, they call him the Hammer. He's an assassin. He has dead eyes. He's scary as fuck, man. Like, and you know from the beginning that it's going to be a problem for Ethan Hunt. You just don't know how yet, but he did a great job being a villain in this.
Dude, the part of with him, being scary, like when Alec Baldwin is pretending to accuse, Hunt, and Hunt says, well, what if I refuse? And then Baldwin points to Walker. He's like, what do you think he's here for?
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit. Okay. That's creepy.
Totally. And then Henry Cavill says to Ethan, sorry, it's just business. Like, me killing you is just, it's like the exact he's anti Ethan Hunt, where business is taking a life and Ethan Hunt's business is protecting a single life. It's just, whether it's on the nose or not, it doesn't matter because it's done well. And for a movie like this that is so over the top, the kind of like subtlety of that, I really appreciate.
This is like the better version of what they were trying to maybe do in MI2, the Sean Ambrose.
Yes. Oh, you're right, dude. Totally.
You know, like the evil Ethan Hunt. I'm like, okay, but this is effective.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the Cruise sprints. They're all over this movie.
Yeah, they're everywhere. It's great.
This was excellent. And as you said, it was compelling. Like, you're like, wow, it can go on forever, but like, I'm here for it. You know, just,
yes.
But yeah, this one's truly great. Listener, if you have not seen this one, no more excuses. Paramount Plus or
really
Prime
good.
Video.
You're going to like it.
Stream it. And I'm even confident, and I'll say this, you're probably going to rent or buy it. I'm calling it now. But I really love this one. And Mark, this one to me is like what I think The Rock is for you. You know,
okay, yeah.
That's why I started with that at the beginning. This movie, as a mission movie, I don't know. But as an action movie, I really feel like this is one of the greats.
I appreciate that totally. And I agree. It really kind of veers away. You know, dude, I was thinking about it. They don't really have the fun gadgets in this one. They have a couple small cameras, they have the face mask, but it's more on the characters doing the action rather than interacting with tools that fail. And it works really well. Like, I don't need those. I don't need that trope in this series like I thought I would. And I guess I misremembered. I really thought that technologically advanced items that inevitably fail was a part of this series. And I guess I'm wrong.
So like that whole scene where Walker thinks he's talking to Lane, but it's Benji. It's like the mask. You know what I mean? Like it's like little things peppered in there because it's the action. And I don't know if like there's a better word for it, like the trickery. I mean, there's a lot of that, in this movie. And I feel like that is what makes it so engaging.
Yeah, it's taking what I love about spy movies, specifically the trickery, the double crossing, and the having to do a mission in a crowded place, like a party or a someone's house. You know, like I don't know what it is. Did you ever play like the game Hitman?
Remind me.
It's like this game where you play this assassin and you have to go like these big sprawling maps, and you have to find a way to kill your target and then extract.
The PlayStation game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really reminds me of that in the sense that there are these big fun set pieces where you are kind of undercover, no one suspects you, and that makes everybody a threat. Because like you get one person to look at you wrong and your cover's blown. And that's one of the things I love about these movies, and I think it does it really well. And this one was no exception. There's a couple scenes like that. Do you think this is kind of like the pinnacle of the series so far?
Yeah, the way you had described it, it encapsulates everything we've known from this franchise. You know,
right.
It's all the best hits from Mission Impossible are here in this movie, you know, and it's executed well, edited well. It's like the most polished version of Mission Impossible, I think, other than, I should correct that. Mission Impossible, the action movie. Because again, still the De Palma thing is still its own thing.
Yeah, totally. I consider it its own, like you just said, like its own thing. When I think about this franchise, it's like, okay, that's the best one, right? For what it was, that is my favorite film. Fallout was my favorite movie. You know what I mean? It's the first one stands alone on its own. It's completely a separate thing. And then I wouldn't even compare this most recent one, Fallout, with the first one because it's two completely different movies.
You got to have like the box set, which is just 2 through 7. You have to have one.
Yeah.
So now, man, we're getting into this phase where McQuarrie and Cruise went into production hell over the next 2 movies, especially this next one, Dead Reckoning. But yeah, we'll save that. I'm very excited to go over that with you and to share that with the listeners as well.
I am too. I can't wait.
Awesome, man. We'll get to it. Thanks, man.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate you.
And listener, we appreciate you too. We hope you're enjoying this Mission Impossible franchise recap as we build up towards the final reckoning, which is going to be out in theaters on May 23rd. As always, thank you for listening. And if you can leave a review wherever you're getting the Sound Speed Action podcast, we do appreciate it very much. It does help the program. We'll be back with more soon.